What's up, Facebook? We have a lot to talk about today. We're mainly going to be talking about pricing your leather goods, how to do it in a way that you feel comfortable with, in a way where you're not afraid of customer rejection when they hear the price, in a way that you feel is profitable. That should have been the first thing I said. It has to be profitable. Otherwise, what's the point of having a business, right? You might as well just give your stuff away for free. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm also going to tell you a little bit about a free training that I'm hosting next week. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Anyone can come. There's going to be a replay too. So if you can't come live, you can still see it later on. And then before we dive into it, I wanted to tell you a little bit about my weekend, only because it was kind of amazing. Because I met store owners and I talked to all these people and new customers and things like that. So I kind of just wanted to share a little bit of how that went, what went really well, what I wished kind of would have went better, or I wished I would have done differently, just so that whenever you find yourself in that situation, maybe you already have found yourself in that situation, you kind of know what to expect, you're prepared, and you can make the best of it. I'm just going to close this door behind me. A little loud there. Yeah, so this past weekend, it was a long weekend for those of you not in the States. We had a holiday weekend here. So my boyfriend and I went out to the Hamptons, which is in Long Island, and is that classic New York spot for celeb sighting and all of that, and has this reputation for being very fancy schmancy, which is why I've never been there before this past weekend, because I'm not a very fancy schmancy person. But my boyfriend's friend had, my boyfriend has a friend who lives out there. They've been friends for years, and she's always asking him to come out. And so he was like, maybe we should take advantage of this and go out. And I was like, yes, absolutely. So as we're going out there, I was thinking more along the lines of, oh, I bet it'll be really beautiful out there. Let me take a couple of bags and we'll do a little mini photo shoot, maybe on the beach or on some of these quaint streets with cute shops and things like that. So I had packed a number of my bags with me, and I was also just kind of traveling with one of my backpacks. And yeah, it was great. We went to a couple of different parties, more like just get-togethers, but I ran into a number of people who they were all, we were all new, so they were like, oh, what do you do? And the minute I said, oh, I have a leather handbag line, I usually don't bombard people with all of the things that I do, because I do a couple of different things, but and they all wanted immediately to see what I was wearing, if I had a card, etc. So things I did right was to have my branding and my website, my Instagram, all that. I've put so much extra work into that, making sure everything just looks really professional, making sure everything looks, and not professional in like a very generic sort of way, but just like something that I feel really good sharing it. Like, I'm not embarrassed of my website. I've had that website before that's been embarrassing to show, and you're like, oh God, I wish my website looked a little bit better than this, but I guess I'll show it to them anyways. I've worked really hard to get past that point, and really make sure all of my photos are really good, really great light, lifestyle shots. And that doesn't mean I've hired this out. Like, I'm still the one who's modeling all of my handbags. It's not like I'm hiring these professional models or anything like that, but I get creative and I make sure, we're shooting in natural light and everything looks really good. I make sure my descriptions are captivating, and all my pricing is correct. And it's just, I felt really good about my presentation. Whenever someone was like, oh my God, is that your bag? I did not even hesitate to be like, here's my website, go check it out. And I did actually run out of cards because I was giving so many cards out. I ran out, which never happens because people don't really take cards that much anymore. But And so at that point, then I was just like, well, I don't have any more cards, but let me show you my Instagram. Let's connect on Instagram. And I would follow the person right away. I would be like, what's your handle? Follow them right away. So they had my info. And then I would literally like pull up my feed and scroll through all of my photos, which my feed looks awesome right now. I'm super proud of it. I think it's all on brand. I don't have any weird photos of like family or like what I ate for dinner or anything like that. Not that pictures of your family is bad, but you know what I mean? Just everything was really relevant, and it was a nice display of what I do and what I can offer to these people who are interested in seeing my work. Everyone loved my stuff. And then we went to a breakfast at someone's house. Everybody in the Hamptons just goes to people's houses. And when you live in Midtown, that doesn't happen. I miss that. Anyways, and I met two shop owners. One shop owner I knew was going to be there, so I definitely had my eye on meeting her and making some conversation with her. And then this other girl I was talking to and asking her what she does, and she said she's a designer and she also has a store in Brooklyn. We got to talking. And now today I'm taking her 4 of my bags to put in her shop for an upcoming party that she's having this weekend. So all in all, it was a fantastic weekend of networking, something that I really, truly sort of dread. But after this weekend, I'm kind of like, man, that is what it is all about. It's all about using your connections. It's all about talking to people. When you're just sitting in your little space, I have this little desk in the corner of my living room, and you're just posting here and there on Instagram, it's not nearly the impact of actually getting out of your studio, getting out of your house, going to the parties, going to other shop openings, just going and being with the people that are going to either be wanting to carry your leather goods to sell in their shops or where your customers are. So I think that was my biggest takeaway this weekend, is that I need to get out more, talk more, network more. It's just huge. It's way better than just sending a cold email. I was starting to draft emails. I will still send these emails to stores and stuff, but I think I'm going to try and really meet these kinds of people in person first, and then sort of form that relationship. So if you are interested in growing your business, growing your brand, starting to get your products in with stores, having influential people wear your stuff or buy your stuff, you really need to network. You also need to make sure that you have your online presence down pat, because the first thing that people are going to do once they meet you in person is they're going to go to your online presence. They're going to go look at your website, and they're going to go look at your Instagram. And they're going to take about 2 seconds to form a first or maybe a second impression if they've met you in person. They might give you a little bit of leeway if they liked you in person. But those 2 things are really important. If right now you're feeling like, oh yeah, I'm a little embarrassed of my website, go and focus on that. Make the changes that need to be made. Share it with some friends or family and say, hey, just give me your honest feedback. What for you is standing out? What looks cluttered? What photos do I need to retake? That's it, I think. If you have any questions about that, or about getting into stores or doing wholesale, or sort of what happens next, how to follow up with people, follow up right away, yeah, just let me know. I could talk about this for hours because I find it to be very exciting. But I want to kind of jump into the content that I had scheduled for today, and I don't want this video to be like an hour long. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and we're talking about pricing your leather work for profit. So that's another thing that you really have to have really set on your website and stuff. You need to have your products priced for profit, because you never know when someone's going to place an order. And if you're not making a profit, then what's the point, right? It's kind of like you just have an expensive hobby. So imagine your leather business where you're putting in a lot of time and energy making leather handbags, or for me, it's leather handbags, but maybe for you, it might be leather belts or wallets or shoes or hats or anything else. You're not only spending a ton of your time, but you've also got your materials costs, you've got a personal investment going into your product. Okay, and then you try and sell this. So scenario one, there's going to be two scenarios here. Scenario one, you don't get any takers, you don't make any sales until you put your handbag or your belt or your wallet on sale and you lower the price to the point where you're only breaking even, right? You made a sale, sure, but did you make any money above that, above the cost that it costs to produce it? Now imagine a business where you come at things a little bit differently. Before you make anything, you take a look at your customer and you determine what they really need or want. Or you take some time to brainstorm a product for a certain specific group of people that could really use what you are creating. So you're thinking about your customer before you even pick up your pencil to sketch out your design. Now you start to create the item, you develop the marketing, all the while you're always thinking about the specific customer and revolving everything around what they want and need and what they're willing to buy. You're basically, you're speaking their language. Everything, you have the customer at the very center of your whole business in this scenario. So you price your product according to what it's cost you to produce, the value, and where you know you are making a profit, and you sell it for that price. So which scenario do you want? Now, obviously, we all want scenario number two, where you're making a profit, you sell it for the price that you quote the customer, there's no bargaining, there's no putting it on sale just to make a sale. This is the scenario where you do a little bit more planning and thinking up front, but in the end, you get such a better result. You sell more at full price, you sell to more people because you've already kind of put in all of the, you've done your homework on your customer, number one, and you know what they want. This is how successful business owners in every field are creating profitable businesses, right? People that are making $1 bajillion a year are not just kind of like, oh, I think I'm going to make this widget and we'll just see what happens. No, there's so much effort that goes into the planning phase before they even produce any sort of product, because they want to make sure that when they do get to produce something, that it's like a sure thing, that it's going to succeed. And this is how you should be thinking about your business too. So over the last few weeks, I've been talking about topics directly related to pricing your leather goods in your leather business. So a couple weeks ago, we talked about the 3 reasons why customers will pay that much for your products, even though you're thinking, I don't think anyone's going to pay this much. Go back and read that or watch the video if you missed that one. Then I talked about how underpricing your leather goods can actually hurt your leather business. Some people think that if they underprice, they'll get people interested and then they'll raise the price. But this can actually really hurt your leather business. It can send the wrong message to your customer that you produce something that's kind of cheap and low quality, low value. So go back and take a look at that one. And we talked about the 5 benefits of selling your leather goods for profit. Things like having a business is an awesome way to gain extra freedom in your life, freedom from the 9 to 5, freedom from your financial constraints. Maybe you want to try and get out of debt. It's just a great way to sort of boost your freedom. And then there's 4 other ways there. And then finally, last week, we talked about what the most profitable leather goods to make and sell are. I kind of flipped the question on its head. I gave you 3 different ways to think about this question. And then we went into the 3 different tips for what the most profitable leather goods for you to make and sell are. So if you missed any of those, go back and check them out. They're all on the blog. You can scroll back on the Facebook page and see them there as well. And all the videos are up. And so in keeping with this theme, as I mentioned at the very top of the video, I put together a new free training that I want to invite all of you guys to. It's called How to Price Your Leather Goods for Profit. If you click the link in the description somewhere around this video, if you're on Facebook, it's right in the description. If you're watching on YouTube, it'll be below the video. If you're watching on Instagram, I'll put it in the profile right after this video. But you can just sign up and save your seat right there. So what is this training going to be like? Well, if you've been following along with all of the videos and the topics that I've been talking about over the past few weeks, this is just going to be sort of the cherry on top. There's going to be a lot of very applicable, very specific information. So this is for anyone who has ever gotten stuck when it comes to determining what the right price is for your handmade goods. Maybe you made something and you're like, I don't know what to price this for. Let me ask my mom, or let me ask my best friend, and then you come up with some random price. Or if you want to start selling your products, but the thing that is standing in your way is the thought of determining what to charge. You have no idea where to even start with that. Or maybe the thought of pricing just makes you feel a little queasy. You feel weird about charging for your leather goods and selling your stuff. If any of these things are resonating, you should sign up for this free training. By the way, the training is going to be next week on Tuesday, September 10th. At 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And even if you can't come live, I'll be there live. I'll be hosting the training live. Even if you can't come live, still sign up for it because there will be a replay. So I'm going to show you how to apply the wholesale and retail formulas for pricing. Don't worry, the math is easy, so that you can price your leather goods fairly with confidence and making sure you are getting a profit out of every sale. You're going to say goodbye to second guessing your pricing, being fearful of customer rejection. And I don't even want you to think about slashing your prices until you've put these practices into use. If you're someone who has had a store for a really long time, nothing sells unless you put it on sale, come to this training first before you put anything else on sale, and let's talk about it. So we're gonna specifically cover why your pricing needs to be based on facts, like the actual costs that go into your products. Like I said, using those easy wholesale and retail formulas, how to factor labor costs into your price and why that's so important to do, calculating your materials costs. How do you calculate the amount of leather it takes for you to make a little wallet out of an entire hide? So I'll show you how to do that, and then running the numbers, and then you're not over once you do the formula. Then becomes the point where you say you run the numbers, and then you're like, okay, now what is my final price going to be? It doesn't necessarily have to be what that formula spit out at you. That is just kind of like your starting point. So I'll show you how to kind of take that price and then say, okay, it should be a little bit more or it should be a little bit less, and how you can sort of justify that and figure that out based on your business. So the workshop is called How to Price Your Leather Goods for Profit, and it's going to be next Tuesday, September 10th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can click the link in the description, save your seat, you'll get a confirmation email, and I'll send you a reminder day of as well, letting you know, hey, we're about to start this workshop, come on over. So this workshop is for you if you think you might be underpricing or overpricing your leather goods. If wholesale and retail formulas really make your head hurt and make you want to pull your hair out, if you're not sure about your labor costs and what you should be charging per hour, or if you just have no idea where to even begin when it comes to setting prices for your leather goods, come and join me in this workshop. I'd love to see you there. Even if you can't come live next week on Tuesday, sign up, save your seat. I'll be sending out a replay because I know people, you guys have lives. It's not like you're just free on 3 p.m., but maybe some of you are, and I hope to see you there live. Yeah, and that's it. And I'll also, after all my trainings, I always hang out for a little bit and take any questions. So if you have any questions specifically relating to your business, how to price things, I'll be there. You can just pop them in the chat, and we'll chat. So again, you guys, hope to see you there, and have a great Wednesday. Bye now. See ya.